How's it going, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Mallett live stream. Let's hop right into this one. This has been a heavily requested area of permitting information. I guess a lot of you guys are in this specific county, but we're going to be talking about Columbus, Texas, the 78934 zip code, what you need to know before you build. So stay tuned, we're going to hop into that here momentarily, but as always, let's get into the beef of the topic for Mallett side of things. Now, why Mallett? We are very excited to talk about this because we are proud of not only our business, but the buildings that we put up. So let's go ahead and talk about our rival series. This is going to be the very base. It's not actually a Mallett building, and what that means is this is a building we have designed to compete, I hate to say compete, to allow those on a bargain budget to get a bargain building. That being said, it does not come with all of the premium features of a Mallett building. Now, if you were just wanting 4 walls and a roof and somewhere to put basic storage in, this could be the building for you. Now, in all honesty, we don't want to sell you a rival building. Why is that? Because as I mentioned previously, we do not have all of the premium Mallett features in this building, but let me go ahead and tell you what it does come with. The Rival series is going to come with 29 gauge metal, a 4-on-12 roof pitch, and 2x6 common flat trusses. As you know, here at Mallett, everything is going to be scissor trusses, starting at 2x6 scissor truss, or cathedral truss as it's also known in the Mallett Classic, up to a 2x8 scissor truss in the Signature and Elite buildings. Now back to the Rival series, you're going to have a 130 mile an hour wind rating on the building. You're going to have no uplift control, and the posts are going to go straight into the dirt. We're not going to have any kind of post pad because that adds money. Now, 2x8 headers. We're going to have double 2x8 headers, not the 2x12 headers you're used to in a Mallett building. But again, this building is all about saving money and building on a budget. You're going to have 3,000 PSI concrete here as well. It is going to be 1,000 PSI less than our 4,000 PSI in the Mallett building. No skirt board guards, so no ground protection. A limited warranty, and some people may not even offer a warranty. If they do, it's very small, or, and I hate this, the warranty is actually longer than they've been around in business. Say it's that they may offer a 10-year warranty, they've been around for 5 years. How can you honor a warranty if you haven't been around long enough? That blows my mind. However, the Rival series does offer a limited warranty. We're also going to have #2 untreated generic lumber. So this is a big difference in our #1 MCA ground treated kiln dried lumber that we use in every Mallett building, from the base of the building, the posts in the ground, the girts, the purlins, and the roof. Everything in a Mallett building is #1 MCA ground treated, which means it is going to be protected from the wood destroying insects, the elements, moisture from the ground, or chemicals from the concrete. We're also going to be kiln dry, which means all that excess moisture is going to be pulled out, so shrinking and cracking is very, very limited because that process has been done in a controlled manner. Moving along to the Mallett Classic, as you see here, we're already off to a better start. Aside from the concrete and the lumber, we have 26 gauge metal. That's going to be thicker, more durable, and longer lasting than 29 gauge. We're also going to have a 5-on-12 roof pitch. That's going to be a steeper pitch. So for every 12 inches we go over, we're going to go up a foot. And that's going to be 1 foot more. We're going to go up 5 feet, the 5-on-12. That's going to have a whole extra on the Rival. We're going to have 2x6 cathedral trusses, you guys. Again, that's going to be the scissor trusses. It's going to give you much more headroom, much more space in the building, and it's going to just look nicer. You're going to have third-party inspections done on our trusses. As Mr. Darrell mentioned, we are partnered with several different organizations in Louisiana and Texas as a truss provider. Because we make all of our trusses here in-house, we're able to have multiple variations, and we're able to create it at a better rate, honestly, so you're not paying extra for things you could get made in hand. Now, those inspections happen because we are associated with other businesses, and we do supply them with trusses, so they come and inspect to make sure everything is not only to code, but to the quality we say it is, and we pass those tests every time. Now, we have a 140-mile-an-hour wind load rating on the building. Starting at the Classic, the Elite is 160 mile an hour, with the Signature being 150. We're gonna have the Mallett cable lock system. This is probably my favorite feature, you guys, because it's so cool and it could have saved a lot of buildings. Now, what the cable lock system is, if you are new and tuning in for the first time, by the way, thank you for watching. The cable lock system is going to be a series of 1/8 inch aircraft cable that goes post to post, and it's connected by a massive eye bolt that's screwed in at the base of each of these posts. Now, these cables are going to connect together, and on their own, they don't really do too much. What makes it super cool is on top of these cables is going to be where that 4-inch, 4,000 PSI concrete is, and if you're in the Elite, that's a 6-inch slab. But that concrete is going to go on top of the cables, and this is going to create what we call the Mallett cable lock system. This system, with the dead weight of the slab, is going to hold that building down, because in post-frame construction, there is no structural weight on the slab. It's what's called a floating slab. The cable lock system brings all that weight and pushes down on those cables and locks that building into place, because again, it's connected to the post. So in the event of a high wind scenario, say like a hurricane, if you have a damaged window, or the wind pushes in the door or pushes in a window, or whatever it may be to have wind intrusion, that wind's going to rush into your building. And as you know, wind needs somewhere to go. It's just like water. It's going to flow in, but it wants to come out. In a building, the only way out is up. So it's going to push up on your building, almost like a parachute, and create what's called uplift. This cable lock system is uplift control, and it's the main reason we have yet to lose a single building to a hurricane in our 27 years, as long as the building has had the Mallett cable lock system. So this is an incredible feature, you guys. It's why it's one of my personal favorites, and I just love talking about it because I think it's so cool. And as someone who has lost a shop in the past, I used to live in Cameron Parish. We had a big shop, and when we got home from the hurricanes after Laura, we had no shop. So hearing about this cable lock system, I wish that would have been something we had, but you as a Mallett customer can rest assured your building is good to go, and it's going to withstand the storms. Now, we also have concrete under every post in the form of a post pad. That's going to be an 80-pound bag of concrete that's poured into each post hole. These posts are 6x6 posts, and they're going to rest on top of this 80 pounds of concrete, and that's going to be a slab for the post to sit on. That's going to be a firm foundation, no dirt, no gravel, no ability to shift and move, so your settling is going to be controlled. There's not going to be any sagging or moving of the post. It's all going to be firmly planted on this concrete pad. As I mentioned, we have double 2x12 headers, which is much larger than the 2x8 headers in the competition or the rival. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen a 2x12 piece of lumber, but it is massive. So you get 2 of those as your header boards. We've talked about the concrete, and I want to mention this 4,000 PSI 4-inch concrete slab. It's also, as every Mallett building is, the concrete is microfiber reinforced. Now, this microfiber reinforcement is going to go throughout the entirety of the concrete, and that's going to create a more stable and crack resistant, not crack proof, but the microfiber, when the hairline cracks come, and as Mr. Darrell mentioned, hairline cracking is not anything to worry about, but microfiber is going to help prevent the spreading of these hairline cracks and prevent massive cracking. Most people are going to use rusty rebar or metal inside their concrete, and if they don't get their ratios of water and concrete just perfect, and to be honest, most people don't, because they intentionally add more water to either push the concrete further back if it's a bigger building, or to just prolong the use of their concrete so they can save a little money. Whatever their reason, oftentimes that rebar or that metal mesh is going to sink to the base of the concrete, and it's not going to do anything for you. The microfiber, it is throughout the entirety of the slab, so it's mixed in with the actual concrete mixture, so every bit of that concrete has microfiber reinforcement, so it's stronger, more durable, and again, it helps prevent the cracking, which is the biggest concern of concrete. We're also going to have skirt board guards for ground protection. As I mentioned, a 4-year workmanship warranty comes standard on the Mallett Classic building, with a 6-year on the Signature and a 10-year on the Elite. We talked about the lumber, and of course, we're going to have our in-house engineering oversight. Mr. Darrell and his team were amazing, making sure everything from the drawing to the construction of the building is looked over and stamped and approved by the engineers. They're gonna make sure it doesn't just look good, but it performs great. And that is something we are incredibly proud of. As a licensed engineer firm, that means a lot to us. All that to say, the Mallett Classic, with being less than $3,000 difference of the rival building and most of our competitor builds, it's not a big jump because all of these extra features, first off, cost far more. It's around $15,000 to $16,000 if I remember correctly to jump to add all these extra features and the bigger boards, the extra concrete, all of this. So that little of a difference for that great of a protection and that much bigger jump of quality and craftsmanship, it's a no-brainer. It makes perfect sense to me why you should choose a classic building. And I strongly, strongly suggest that you at least talk to a building specialist, because if budget is ultimately the final deciding factor, it's a lot cheaper to build it once the right way than to repair or replace later down the road. So if you're ready to make that conversation and have that process started, give us a call at 337-214-0428. A building specialist is waiting to help you and get you started along that process. Moving right along, if you are considering a Mallett building and you're going to give us a call here soon, which we hope you do, we can't wait to hear from you, and you fall into one of these workforce categories, healthcare worker, first responder, military personnel, teacher, and or educator, we first off want to say thank you for what you do and for serving our community and those in it. So every day here at Mallett, you immediately get $500 off your next building just for being in the category of work that you are. Again, we want to say thank you every single day. Moving along, Tiger Cash. If you comment cash on a video just like this, you're gonna get $250 per letter. Now, what does that mean? You get $1,000 off if you're upgrading to a signature or elite building. Now, this does not apply to specials or promotions, but I promise you we have some amazing specials and promotions that we're about to talk about. However, if you comment cash on a live video just like this, you get $1,000 off. Just be sure to let your building specialist know you did that, and we will make sure to apply your Tiger Cash to your next elite or signature Mallett building. Now, speaking of those specials and promotions, March Madness is in full swing. Forgive the yesterday, but today we have our 2 brand new updated specials, and I can't wait to talk about it. Let's hop into it. So, is your building big enough? The answer is usually no, because as we know, we always fill up the space we have, so plan for bigger. What does that mean? You can get a 30 by 50 by 12 for the same price as a 30 by 40 by 12 because we're gonna throw in a free 10-foot extension on your building. So your 30 by 40 price gets you a 30 by 50 building, but that is this week only. As all weeks here in March Madness, we only have specials for 1 week at a time. This week we have the free 10-foot extension, and that's going to be an elite building. So here's a couple of the extra features you get, not all of them, just a few. You're gonna get 2 12 by 10 roll-up doors, 1 36-inch wide walk-through door, 2 3 by 5 windows. You're gonna get gutters, single bubble insulation, ridge vents. You're gonna get post protectors. Let me add, you're also gonna have the option for wainscoting. You're gonna get 6-inch 4,000 PSI microfiber reinforced concrete and tons of other features, you guys. The Elite is by far the greatest building in the entirety of post-frame construction. And on top of that, another feature that I also like is the post protectors. And I have one right here, so bear with me while I grab it. Post protectors are amazing. It is this piece of plastic right here, and it's not just any plastic. I don't really know exactly what it is, but this is a 6x6 sleeve essentially, and this goes on the post and this goes into the ground. Now what this post protector does, as the name states, it's going to protect the post. How does it do that? By protecting it from the ground and chemicals in the concrete. So that protector, that sleeve, is going to allow the prolonging of the post for up to 500 years, if not more. If you have any information, you can check out Post Protectors online. They're a phenomenal partner of ours, and we want to make sure that it is included in every elite building because it is an elite product. Now, moving right along, we actually wanted to throw in a second special for this week because that's just what we do here at Mallett. And now this one is going to be taller for free. So we're going to add an extra height. You can choose your eave height between 12, 14, or 16 foot. So if you want a 40 by 80, by 12, 14, or 16, it's the same price for all of it because that's an $11,000 value you get for free. You can adjust your eave height for free, you guys. That could save you up to $11,000 value between these 3 different options. Again, this is an elite building, so a 40 by 80 by your choice. Don't miss out on this. Again, the height of a building is everything. It allows for headroom, and depending on what you're doing inside, your equipment may need to have this size. And of course, you're gonna get gutters, insulation, ridge vents, post protectors, a 10-year workmanship warranty, 6-inch slab. You're gonna get ridge vents, gutters, wainscoting is optional. You get the roll-up doors, the walk-through doors, the windows. You get all the amazing features of a Mallett building, and you get to pick your eave height. How often do you get to do that? So a 40 by 80, which is a massive building, you guys, you get to choose the eave height on it. So you can get a 40 by 80 by 16 for the same price as a 40 by 80 by 12. So don't miss out on this. Again, that is this week only. Come Sunday, it's over. So don't miss out on that, you guys. We also, for a remaining short time, we have the Cajun Oasis Classic. It's gonna be a 30 by 50 by 12 for $49,999, you guys. I love the Cajun Oasis. I wish it would stay forever, but it is gonna be going away soon. I believe March is gonna be the last month we have this package. Don't hold me to that, but I believe that is what I've been hearing is come April, we're gonna be getting rid of the Cajun Oasis. But it is a beautiful building. We actually have 1 or 2 around here on the property set up. We're using them as office space. But they come with an insulation package, climate control, electrical package, and a 5-ton wall-mounted unit that you can see here. Now, as you also see, the electrical package and 5-ton unit are a $16,000 value. That's insane because it's thrown in there for free. You also have the ability to ask about spray foam because that is an option as well. Now, this beautiful building is $49,999, but I've been talking about the Elite a lot. So if you want a little bit more, you want that 10-year warranty, you want those gutters, you want the 6-inch concrete slab, well, you're in luck. We have a Cajun Oasis Elite. It also comes with that $16,000 free value, all the features of an Elite building, everything we've talked about. You get the 2 windows, the roll-up doors, the walk-through door, the gutters, the ridge vents, you get the wainscoting, you get the slab, the post protectors, the warranty, all these cool features and more because there's so many, I'm forgetting what all of them are. And this is only for $59,999, you guys. So for only $10,000 difference, you get to jump from a classic to an Elite building for a 30 by 50 by 12. It comes fully insulated. It has heating, cooling. It's gonna have your climate control package. It's gonna have the wall-mounted unit. It's ready to go. All you have to do is hook up the electricity, turn the lights on, and you are ready to go. Man cave, game room, in-law suite, office space, home studio, hair salon, whatever you want this building to be, it is ready to go as soon as we are done because it comes with everything, you guys. So don't miss out on the Cajun Oasis. I'm pretty sure March is the last month for it, so get on the books or you're gonna miss out on a phenomenal deal. Now, moving right along, we wanna talk about the 5 red flags as always. The 5 red flags are a group of issues that we've noticed that we want to make aware so you can consider these things when you are choosing your builder. Because even if you're coming to us at Mallett, we want to make sure you are fully educated and well aware of who you're working with and what you're going to be getting. So let's start with red flag number 1. It's going to be years in business. You can check this at the Secretary of State website. And first and foremost, if the person you're considering doing business with does not appear on the Secretary of State website, well, that means they're not a licensed business and you should look somewhere else. If they do appear here, you're gonna see how long they've been a licensed business. We understand everyone has to start somewhere, but you don't wanna be a guinea pig when you're making an investment of $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 on up. You may wanna go with someone who's been here for the long haul. Here at Mallett, we've been here for 27 years and counting, and we're incredibly proud of that. We've got over 20,000 buildings built and on the ground. And if you have any questions, give us a call. But we've been here a while. We are the industry leaders in our area, and we cannot wait to hit 30, 40, 50 years and going. Now, speaking of licenses, on the LSLBC, the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors, you want to check for contractor's license, because even if they're a licensed business, they have to have contractor's license. Residential, commercial, whatever it may be, they need the proper license to do that. Here at Mallett, we have those licenses, as well as we're a licensed engineering firm and other things. You can check us out at the LSLBC as well. And while you're there, you want to check for contractor violations, because this is a biggie. This is every time they've been caught breaking the law. And most people in this business have at least 1 or 2 violations. We're proud to say here at Mallett, over our 27 years, we've remained 0 contractor violations, and we are incredibly proud of that. That shows work ethic, that shows doing things by the book, and just making sure the process is as great as possible. So make sure you check those violations out. If you have a conversation with someone and this doesn't come up, but you find it on your own, that too could be a red flag and something to consider. Red flag number 4, we have reviews on the BBB and Google, because reviews are how the public share their experience and what they've gone through, whether it be a 5-star amazing review or a 1-star horrible, trashy review. You want to look at all of them. It's the same thing as buying something on Amazon or online at the store. You want to see what other people have experienced, how the product looks at the end, how the process went, how they handled any issues or upsets along the way. Everything from the customer journey is important, and 9 times out of 10 that is accurately reflected in a customer review. Now, we understand not everyone has as many reviews as us, and maybe that's something to consider as well. But here at Mallett, we have over 700 reviews, as well as an A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau. So between Google and the BBB alone, we have over 700 reviews. So if you feel like reading all of them, we highly recommend it. Grab some popcorn, find a comfy corner of the couch, and just sink in, because we've got reviews to last you a couple of days of reading. That being said, not everyone, again, has this many reviews, but we highly recommend you check ours and theirs before you make a decision, because you want to hear from both sides of the story and see how things were handled. And finally, red flag number 5, you want to visit the contractor's facility. Why is this so important? This is an important part because, first off, not everyone has a facility. Now, most people are going to be third-party middlemen. They're going to be buying their trusses from outside sources. They're not going to be engineered to the building. They're just going to be standard trusses, and they're going to get what they get. Again, here at Mallett, we have our very own truss plant where we make each and every truss by hand, and then it's going to be cut with our lasers, so it's precision every time. We have computers and robots and all this cool stuff here at the plant. That's just for the truss operation. We have the gutters, we have the roll form plant coming, we have the packing and shipping area, we have the storage area, and there is so much wood there. It's insane. But we have all this here, but most importantly, we have our amazing staff. We have the designers, we have the building specialists, we have the engineers, we have the architects, we have everyone here at Mallett who is going to be part of your building process, and they can't wait to talk to you. So if you have any questions, or you want to take one of our amazing tours, they only take about 15-20 minutes. You get to see the whole facility, and it's really a fun experience. So if you're ever in Iowa, Louisiana, or going down the I-10, you make sure you stop here and come say hello, and we would love to see you. You're going to get met with a smiling face and a good handshake, and I promise it's going to be a great time. But to the topic at hand, you guys, again, this was highly, highly requested. There was a lot of people asking for this specific area code. Today we are in Columbus, Texas, area code 78934, what you need to know before you build. Let's hop into this. So who handles the permits in this area? And bear with me, this little mouse is really annoying me right here. There we go. Got that taken care of. I know you saw it too, but who handles the permits in Columbus, Texas? If you're inside the city limits, which is most common in this area, you're gonna have the Colorado County Development Office, and they're gonna handle most of the post-frame building projects. If you're inside the Columbus city limits, the city code enforcement is gonna be the people handling your permits. This also adds inspections and stricter requirements. If you're outside the city limits, you're gonna have a easier time getting your permit. There's gonna be less red tape, less hurdles. There's gonna be less inspections and less strict requirements. However, if you were inside the city limits, the opposite's going to apply. And it may be a little more strenuous process, but I promise you we can get through it together. If you have any questions here at Mallett, we're here to help. So, what are the required permits you can expect in Columbus? So, development permit, this is definitely required. It's going to involve your site placement, your floodplain check, and your address assignment. These are all very crucial things, not only for permitting, but for us, the builders. We want to make sure you have your site picked out and your building placement, ideally, in a perfect position. You're going to want to make sure the floodplain is checked, because you want to make sure your building's not going to flood or advert water into an area it shouldn't be going. And of course, the address assignment, we don't want to put your building up on the wrong address, and we don't want to get permits for the wrong address. So make sure all of this is accurate and triple checked, because it is required. Floodplain review, if applicable, because not everyone's in a flood zone, we understand. But this may affect the design, elevation, and cost. If you are in a flood zone, as you know, with insurance and other things of that nature, this will affect a lot of things. The design. Oftentimes, you may be required, if you're in a flood zone, depending on the zone and the area, some people are required to have flood vents, which are little, almost doggy door style looking vents around the building, and depending on where you're at is dependent on how many of those you'll need. But that being said, this could be a design change that will affect your building, and it could affect doors, roll-up doors, anything like that, because it has to fit within the post as well. But floodplains can affect the design of the building tremendously, as well as elevation. If you're in a flood zone, you're most likely going to have to raise your building to at least base flood elevation, probably 1 to 2 feet above the base flood elevation. That is in turn going to affect the cost of the building as well, because higher up building means more materials, more dirt, you gotta have a higher foundation, and it just affects a lot of things. So please check your flood zone regardless of where your area is, because flood zones could affect the cost of your building, the design of your building, and overall timeline of your project if you're not prepared for those adjustments. Number 3, septic permit if needed. This is required for plumbing or living space. If you're gonna have running water or plumbing or anything like that, you're going to be required to have a septic permit. That's, again, applicable to most all areas, but today we're talking about Columbus, Texas in specific. But if you're going to have any sort of running water, it's going to be considered a living space most likely, and you're going to be required to have a plumbing permit or a septic permit. Who handles the permits? Again, the county builds, you're going to have fewer restrictions, faster approvals, and more flexibility. For city builds, in Columbus, you're gonna have inspections required, code enforcement, and longer timelines. Just a little extension of what we talked about earlier. The biggest project factors, floodplain, the most common issues. We just kind of went over this, but let's dive a little deeper into this. The floodplain can limit building location, and it may require elevation or extra engineering. We just dove into that, so that's this. Septic approval must be approved before install and can affect the schedule. Again, we've brought this up before. Be open and upfront about what you are planning to use your building for. If you've ever called us here at Mallett Buildings, you've probably gotten the question, what will you be using your building for? And I know to most this may seem like a silly question because it's your building. You can do whatever you want with it. You can do whatever you want in it. And that's my opinion, but it's not the opinion of the permitting office. They need to know, and they want to know, but most importantly, they need to know what you are using your building for, because they have to sign off on the permit. Now, if you're gonna have septic, that's gonna be a totally different permitting process than if it's just a storage building, because septic and electricity and utilities essentially are going to move this from an accessory building to a potential extra living space, and that's going to affect the timeline and the schedule severely if you're not upfront about it. And if you go behind the permitting office's back and you build an accessory building, or you file for an accessory only building, and you end up putting septic and plumbing, oftentimes it's going to shut the project down because we're not permitted to do those things. So be sure you're upfront about it. It may take a little extra time. It could cost a little extra money, but it's not nearly as expensive as getting shut down and having to start all over or having fines for doing things the wrong way. So take that to consideration and keep that in mind when you are filing for your permit. Be sure to be upfront and honest about what your building is being used for. Site responsibility. Permit approval does not equal site ready. Say that again. Permit approval does not equal site ready. Just because you have an approved permit does not mean your site is ready. Customer is responsible for the following: driveway access, pad preparation, proper drainage. If the site isn't ready, project delays happen. So you guys, I was having a conversation with a customer this morning. We have to make sure the trucks can get in the driveway first off. So you may not realize this, or a lot of people don't consider this. When you're ordering a building to be built on your property, we have to first off deliver the materials and deliver the machinery and deliver the equipment. That means we need to have an accessible way to get to the property site and to get to where the building is being built. If there's excess overhanging power lines or trees, or the road is too narrow, or we can't access the property because vehicles are parked there, there's trash in the way, this is definitely going to affect the timeline of your project. And if we can't deliver that day and have to come back, it could also add extra carrying charges because the preparation wasn't there. So please be sure we have driveway access. Please be sure the site is ready. Again, permit approval does not equal site ready. To be site ready, the build location has to be prepped. You have to have some sort of foundation. If we're not doing that for you, you have to have that ready. Make sure the area is cleared. It's also best to pull back the grass and make sure it's dirt and a flat foundation. The flatter, the better. And of course, proper drainage, as I mentioned earlier. You don't want to be caught causing a flood problem because that permit will never get approved, or you could face issues with your city or governing body later down the road. So please be sure the site responsibilities are taken care of. We have a checklist for you if you're a Mallett customer. Be sure everything is followed to a T so we can make sure your building process is as smooth as possible. What this means for you? Most builds fall under county jurisdiction. The process is straightforward if handled early, and I want to add handled correctly. I recommend this for every permitting episode. Call your permitting authority and ask for all the information they have. If you can get a packet or a checklist of what you need to do and the timeline in which you need to do it, that's even better because it helps everyone be involved. Just let them know you're here to help make their life easier, and I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Floodplain plus septic are the biggest delays usually. Again, site preparations can cause delays as well, but oftentimes that's handled pretty well. The floodplain and septic, this floodplain are things we really can't control, but septic is, again, something we need to be on top of from the very beginning. A pro tip we recommend: permitting issues come from lack of communication, not the complexity of it. Getting a permit is very straightforward. They ask for A, you give A. They ask for B, you give B. And then it's a sequential process that just follows paperwork and filing it the right way. You want to make sure you have communication. This goes back to calling your permitting body and getting all the info up front. We have great communication with most of the permitting authorities in our serviceable area. So if you want to have any of that info, just give us a call, comment with your zip code, and we will make sure to send you as much information, or at least the contacts you can use to get in touch with those people for your specific zip code and or county or parish if you're here in Louisiana. So if you have any questions about building in Columbus, Texas, reach out before you start your project. We'll help you avoid delays and stay on schedule. That's the Mallett Building Promise. This is the permitting guide for today. If you already have a Mallett building and you're a past customer, or you're getting a second or third building, because we love when you come back and get another building, you are applicable for the Mallett Ambassador Club. Now, real quick, what's the Ambassador Club? Essentially, it is a way for you to make even more referral money, because if you send us a customer here at Mallett Buildings, we're going to give you a check, and that's going to be cold, hard cash to say thank you for helping or for sending us a customer who signs with Mallett. Now, as an ambassador, you have additional opportunities, because when people are in your area and are curious about what these finished buildings look like or what the customer experience was like, they will oftentimes want to speak to one of our ambassadors. And that is a way for you, the ambassador, to not only show off your building, but to give a little information. Mr. Tim does it all the time. He has so many people sent to him, and if those people end up signing, he's gonna get a check. And the same with you. So if you have any questions about the Mallett Ambassador Club, the only requirement is you have to have a Mallett building. But if you have any questions or want to become a part of the club, go ahead and comment ambassador and we'll send you all the information and we'll get you signed up and get you earning all that extra Mallett money. That's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Tyler. If you enjoyed anything in this episode or found it educational or informative, please be sure to save the video for later for when you build your Mallett building, or share it with a friend who's considering a post frame building, a shop, a Barndominium, anything we do here at Mallett. Go ahead and share it with them so they can be prepared. If they live in Columbus, Texas, even better. If not, we have tons of content that can help anyone at any stage of the building process. So be sure again to follow, turn that notification bell on so you see anytime we post, so you never miss a bit of information, and you can be here with us every single day to enjoy the live stream and all the fun we have here at Mallett. Again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.